Inspiring twist, single mom discovers billionaire's heart he calls off wedding in 24 hours. Lucy Harper felt the sting of the early morning sun as she rushed through the small, cramped bakery that had become her lifeline. Flour dusted her worn jeans, and the sweet scent of cinnamon hung in the air. Today, like every other day, brought its own set of challenges. Bills piled high on the counter, each one a reminder of the insurmountable mountain of financial strain she faced. Jake's college dreams clashed violently with their reality. How could she ensure his future when hers felt so trapped? With a shaky hand, she clutched her coffee cup, eyes darting around, barely noticing the elegant stranger enter her world. Then disaster struck. The cup slipped. Hot coffee splattered across the stranger's tailored suit, the shock of the moment frozen in time. "I'm so sorry," Lucy blurted, panic washing over her. There was something alluring about his poised posture despite the growing stain on his fine fabric. Ethan Caldwell smiled, quirking an eyebrow in amusement. Underneath his affluence, he revealed a warmth that set Lucy's heart racing for reasons wholly unexpected. She brushed against her own fears. Was this just a fleeting mistake, or was there a lesson pulsating through the messy moments of life? The day pressed on, her bakery's rush blurring into a haze. She forced a smile at the regulars while her mind was heavy with thoughts of Jake's future. The weight of their struggles felt heavier than it should. Jake had dreams, smart boy ambitions, but Lucy lacked the funds to unlock doors for him. She could see the spark fade in his eyes, and that gnawed at her relentlessly. She desperately needed something to change, yet felt so paralyzed between loyalty to her gritty roots and the potent allure of a life filled with possibility. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let us continue. The weekend brought her to a charity gala where her bakery was invited to cater, a step deep into a world she knew little about but was increasingly drawn to. Spotting Ethan, now dressed in crisp elegance, anxiety rippled through her. The chemistry between them danced through all the glances and unspoken words. Yet, lurking behind the atmospheric charm were shadows of expectations. Ethan's fiancée waited in the wings, whispers of family loyalties and unyielding traditions pressed against him like the walls of a gilded cage. Amid the whispers and bustling crowd, Lucy confronted her growing attraction to this man who seemed so different from her small-town struggles. Could she dare to dream of a world filled with love, excitement, and abundance? Or was she destined to remain shackled by her hands' hard work alone? When the tension reached a boiling point, Ethan faced a choice: the life he had accepted, or the unexpected connection he couldn't deny. Struggling against his own thoughts, Lucy felt pinned beneath the weight of their uncertain future, the delicate threads connecting them fraught with tension. Just then, she heard Ethan utter the words that could shift everything. In that charged moment, she questioned not only their bond but also the essence of her own identity. With her heart thumping in her chest, Lucy prepared for the unraveling of a story she never anticipated could belong to her. Would she follow him into the unknown, or would she let go of an unexpected future that flickered tantalizingly close? As the gala unfolded around her, Lucy found herself standing on the precipice of a decision that felt monumental. The lights twinkled like stars, illuminating the laughter and elegance enveloping her, but within her the chaos reigned. Ethan's words echoed in her mind, a promise laced with paradox. What did they mean for her dusty life behind the bakery counters? Ethan approached, his brow furrowed with intensity, pulling her from her turbulent thoughts. "We need to talk." His voice was firm yet tender, infused with urgency and something else she couldn't quite grasp. "About what?" she managed, her heart racing, the drink she spilled seeming 1,000 lifetimes ago. Did he really see her beyond the erratic moments she had shared? "About us," he replied, his gaze steady. That single word splintered her resolve. She wasn't used to being included in us. That was a luxury for people who didn't worry about their next meal. Lucy's instinct screamed caution, but a hint of hope whispered of the possibilities that lay ahead. Ethan, my life is complicated. I have responsibilities. Her voice trailed off, unsure if the burden of her reality would push him away or draw him nearer. I see that, and I respect it. You care deeply for your son, that much is clear, he said, his expression softening. But I can't pretend this connection we have isn't real. I may have a life mapped out for me, but it doesn't fit. I'm standing here, wanting something different. The weight of his confession settled over her. Could she really be the catalyst for someone else's change? Her mind raced. Jake was her priority, and she had no right to put her needs first. The selflessness that defined her was now curdling into fear, fear of loss, fear of the unknown. Night deepened around them. I could lose everything by exploring this, but I can't ignore these feelings. What if it's the spark needed to reignite hope in both our lives? Lucy acknowledged, twisting a napkin in her hands, wrestling with the gravity of her choices. Maybe it's time we both explore that spark, he whispered. It was an invitation to leap, to chase a life that felt both intoxicating and terrifying. She stood at the edge of a chasm, questioning everything about her identity. Was she brave enough to pursue a life defined by more than her struggles? Courage surged through her, but doubt shadowed the path ahead. It was one thing to navigate her life, another to step into a world that glittered with possibility but threatened to overshadow her reality. The next day at the bakery, Lucy felt the air thick with anticipation. Business was slow, even the regulars sensed something shifted in her energy. Standing behind the counter, jarring sensations filled her mind. If she committed to this potential relationship, what would it cost her? Would Ethan understand that while she could imagine a future with him, she also had to safeguard her present? Jake deserved the best of her, not someone half-heartedly divided between families or emotions. While contemplating, her phone buzzed. A message from Ethan danced across the screen, simple yet electrifying. I want to introduce you to my world. The opportunity could change everything. With a mixture of excitement and fear, Lucy stared at the bakery's familiar walls, grounding herself before letting thoughts of grandeur sweep her away. But could she risk it? A choice loomed just beyond the warmth of flour and cinnamon, begging for her courage to summon the clarity she needed. What if she revealed her dreams not just for Jake but for herself, embracing both the peril and promise of love? As she prepared for a decision that could transform the very fabric of her life, with her heart caught between longing and fear, the door swung open. In walked someone she never expected to see, a member of Ethan's family. The world was tilting, and Lucy braced herself for the revelations that were about to unfold, unaware of the challenge that would soon threaten to unravel everything she had just begun to embrace. Would her budding connection survive the scrutiny ahead, or would it all slip away like grains of sand through her fingers? The bell above the bakery door chimed softly as Lucy held her breath, her heart racing. The figure stepping inside was familiar yet alien, cloaked in an air of privilege that felt worlds away from her flour-dusted reality. Margaret, Ethan's older sister, had always exuded an aura of high society, and today was no exception. Her presence stirred an uncomfortable cocktail of curiosity and apprehension within Lucy. "Lucy, right?" Margaret greeted, her smile a veneer of warmth that failed to hide a careful appraisal of her surroundings. "Ethan has mentioned you." Lucy forced a smile, her mind racing. Did Ethan share the depth of their conversations? Did she come across as despondent or, worse, needy? "Yes, I'm just finishing up for the day," she stammered, gesturing to the scattered pastries behind her. "They're delightful," Margaret replied, her polite nod barely disguising her critique. "But I'm actually here to discuss something quite different." Lucy's stomach churned. "What is it?" "Ethan seems quite taken with you," she began, her tone shifting, a subtle coldness creeping in. "And while I respect his feelings, I am protective of him. He's embarking on a significant chapter, an impending marriage with Sophie. He has his responsibilities too." Those words hit Lucy like a slap. A marriage? It felt like being plunged into icy water, every thought freezing at the implications. She struggled to maintain composure, swallowing the lump rising in her throat. I didn't know. Of course you didn't. Things are complex in our world. Margaret's demeanor softened momentarily, as if contemplating the life of a single mother next to the gilded turmoil of their family. But Ethan's potential is enormous. He needs to focus, especially with the wedding approaching. Lucy felt a rush of something she couldn't quite decipher: frustration, anger, and an unwillingness to be manipulated by the hierarchies of wealth. Does he? Or does he need to make his own choices? Margaret regarded her with narrowed eyes, intrigue sparking briefly. You sound ready for a battle. I admire that. But know that the stakes are high. The bakery felt claustrophobic as Lucy searched for her voice amid the emotional contentions swirling within. I've got responsibilities too, you know. My son is exactly why you should step back, Margaret interjected, crossing her arms with a haughty air. What Ethan needs is someone who fits seamlessly into our world, someone polished. This, she gestured vaguely around the bakery, is charming but a distraction. Lucy's voice was steadier now, laced with defiance. Maybe we need a little distraction sometimes. Maybe we need connection beyond the polished walls of wealth. Margaret's laughter was devoid of warmth. Ethan won't see it that way. Men like him are trained from a young age to pursue success. A relationship will only complicate his trajectory. As Margaret spoke, Lucy felt the boundaries of her reality shifting. Doubts washed over her, mingled with a defiance ignited by Margaret's condescension. And what about the sparks? The connection we share? Isn't that worth exploring? The romantic idea of love won't shield either of you from reality, Margaret warned, her gaze sharpening. So tread carefully. The conversation hung heavy in the air, the implication slicing through the warmth that had once enveloped Lucy. As Margaret edged closer to the door, Lucy's resolve solidified. There was meat to her anxiety, substance she'd long hidden beneath self-deprecation. Margaret, I won't bow out just because the odds are stacked against me, she said, feeling empowered in her truth. Shouldn't Ethan get to choose who he loves, and shouldn't I have that right too? For an instant, Margaret's expression faltered, surprise punctuating her polished exterior. But a moment later, she composed herself. I see you're determined. Just remember, bridges burned can't be rebuilt. With that, she turned and left, the door swinging shut behind her, the muffled world of the bakery enclosing Lucy. As reality settled around her, uncertainty ignited fresh anxiety. What did this confrontation mean for her budding relationship with Ethan? Would she dare confront him about Margaret's words, or retreat into safety once more? The shadows of choices loomed larger than ever, each decision pulling her deeper into the emotional tumult she fought to navigate. Just then, her phone buzzed again. An incoming message from Ethan read simply, "Can we talk? I need to see you soon." Lucy caught her breath, torn between the desire to uncover a truth that could either shatter or amplify her world. Would she open her heart, or would she barricade herself behind the very walls she sought to escape? Standing in the bakery, surrounded by the warmth of freshly baked bread and the lingering sweetness of pastries, Lucy felt the weight of Margaret's words settle heavily on her shoulders. She stared at the flour-dusted countertop, her heart pounding as thoughts collided within her mind. Ethan's impending marriage loomed over her like a storm cloud, dark and threatening, while the flicker of hope ignited by their connection fought to break through. As the other customers filtered out, the stillness amplified her anxiety. Were her feelings for Ethan merely a fleeting fancy in the wake of his affluent world? Or was there something deeper worth fighting for? The ringing of her phone shattered her thoughts, pulling her back to the present. She tapped on Ethan's message, the pulse in her temples quickening. Can we talk? I need to see you soon. The simplicity of his words both reassured and unnerved her. She knew she had to summon the courage to confront him about Margaret's ambivalence and her own burgeoning feelings. The conversation wouldn't simply be about facing the truth. It would test their connection and challenge the boundaries of their lives. Lucy tucked her hair behind her ear, her mind racing with possibilities. She glanced at the clock. It was nearly closing time. There was a quiet anticipation for what would unfold, and it fueled her resolve. Cleaning up the last of her work, she tried to focus on the mechanical task of arranging pastries, forcing her hands to move even while a whirlwind of emotions roared inside. With each deliberate movement, Lucy practiced the conversation in her mind. She would maintain her dignity, standing tall against the tide of societal expectations and family loyalty. If she and Ethan shared something genuine, then love should take precedence over wealth and privilege. But how could she communicate that without sounding desperate? As she locked the door and turned off the lights, she felt a rush of weightlessness. The bakery, with its comforting charm, had been her refuge, but now it felt like a cage. Outside, the city hummed with life. The night air was cool and refreshing. Each breath grounded her, igniting her newfound determination. Arriving at their favorite spot by the park, she leaned against the railing, her heart racing at the prospect of their impending meeting. The stars glimmered down, seemingly whispering promises of courage and resilience. Thoughts of Ethan filled her mind like a vibrant sunset painting the horizon, instilling a sense of purpose she had long sought. When Ethan arrived, his expression mirrored her mix of apprehension and eagerness. He took a moment to collect himself before stepping closer, his eyes locking onto hers with a magnetic pull. The tension buzzed between them, electric and palpable. "Lucy," he began, hesitating slightly, "I've been thinking a lot about us." She took a deep breath, sensing the weight of his words. "I need to talk to you too. It's about Margaret's visit." Ethan's brow furrowed, body tensing slightly. "What did she say?" Lucy's resolve hardened as she faced him. "She made it clear that there are expectations for you, about marrying Sophie." "But what about us, Ethan? Can't we explore this?" His eyes narrowed slightly, the flicker of uncertainty evident. "Lucy, you know my family. The family that can dictate who you love?" She interrupted, her pulse quickening as anger sparked behind her words. "I refuse to believe that love isn't worth the risk. Not just for you, but for both of us." A flicker of surprise crossed his features, but it was quickly followed by something deeper: consideration. "I want to be with you," he said slowly, "but the consequences—" "What consequences?" Lucy challenged. "Are we merely pawns in a game of wealth and expectation? You have a choice, Ethan. We both do." Ethan's eyes searched hers, searching for conviction, wrestling with the seriousness of the situation. They stood there, moments stretching as their futures intertwined, the weight of their choices pressing down on them. "Maybe this is the moment we decide what we really want," he said at last, that flicker of hope igniting into something more. With those words, Lucy felt something shift within her, a renewed sense of purpose. This was not just about love anymore, it was about truth and standing firm against conformity. As she prepared to confront the unknown, a new surge of determination coursed through her, but just as she opened her mouth to speak further, her phone buzzed in her pocket, breaking the charged silence. A message from an unknown number flashed. "Are you ready for what comes next?" Panic and intrigue surged through her, mingling with the excitement of what she had just shared with Ethan. What awaited her beyond this moment? What if the very struggle they faced turned out to be more than she ever anticipated? The message hung in the air, a siren call laced with uncertainty. Lucy's mind raced, unease twisting her stomach. Ethan watched her, the flicker of hope in his eyes now mingling with concern. She shook her head, the initial buzz of excitement fading into something more daunting. "What was that?" he asked, a hint of defensiveness creeping into his voice. The intimate moment they had just shared felt fragile, at risk of crumbling under the weight of external chaos. I don't know," she stammered, pulling the phone out and staring at the screen. "It's from an unknown number. It says, 'Are you ready for what comes next?'" The shadows danced around them, echoing her internal turmoil. She felt the warmth of Ethan's presence beside her, but the situation felt dauntingly larger than just their conversation. What did this message mean? Could it be related to Ethan's impending marriage, or was it something entirely different? Maybe it's just a spam message, Ethan suggested, though his voice lacked conviction. The tension was palpable between them, layered with unspoken fears. His concern for Lucy broke through his own apprehensions, signaling to her that he was not ready to back away from their conversation. I don't want to ignore it. The timing feels too coincidental. Her thoughts spiraled, and as much as she wanted to fight for what they had, curiosity gnawed at her sense of control. Then let us figure it out together. Maybe it could be something that connects to what we talked about. Something pushing you to take that leap. There was a newfound intensity in Ethan's gaze. His willingness to confront the unknown mirrored the surge of bravery Lucy felt swelling within her. You mean taking a leap with us? A spark of determination flashed across his face. Yes. If there are forces trying to drive us apart, shouldn't we explore every avenue? After all this talk about choices and fighting for what we want, maybe we should face this head-on. As Lucy left these words to settle, energy coursed through her veins, igniting her passion. The liberation she had been yearning for started to materialize, not only concerning her feelings for Ethan but also as a realization that she held power in her hands. She could navigate these upcoming challenges with clarity and courage. Okay, she said, voice steadying. Then let us find out what is going on. With a swift finger, she tapped on the number to call back. It rang twice before a voice answered, cool and detached. Who is this? Lucy questioned, determined not to showcase her mounting anxiety, but her heart raced in her chest. The truth is what you seek, Lucy. And your life is about to change, drastically. Her stomach dropped, the cryptic tone unsettling her further. A shiver of anticipation mixed with fear coursed through her. Were they really caught in the web of something larger? The line went dead, and Lucy looked up at Ethan, her face pale. What does that even mean? She felt vulnerable, stripped of the protective barriers she had crafted around herself over years of playing it safe. Ethan held her gaze, a mixture of resolve and fear passing between them. We will figure it out. Together. Lucy nodded, grounding herself by focusing on Ethan. Her longing to redefine love and pursue her own aspirations felt stronger than ever. Whatever it is, it can't break our bond. If anything, I hope it will strengthen us. Then let us not waste any more time. Ethan took her hand, their fingers intertwining, and she felt a new sensation, a heightened sense of purpose sparked by the unpredictable twists of fate. This moment would define not just their relationship, but also propel her towards the uncharted territories of her own potential. But as they began to walk toward an uncertain future, another message chimed from her phone, casting shadows over their burgeoning resolve. Beware of what you desire. Sometimes the most precious things come at a price. Fear flickered within her, pushing against her newfound determination. What did this path lead to? Would their fight reveal her hidden competencies, or turn their desire into regret? With every step forward, Lucy felt the stirring of possibilities entwined with danger. Her heart swelled in defiance of fear, yet the looming questions haunted her every thought. What lay ahead, and was she truly ready to confront the consequences entwined with their choices? Lucy's pulse quickened as she slipped her phone back into her pocket. The weight of the words clung to her like a shadow, stirring an unsettling mix of curiosity and dread. Each pulse in her chest was a reminder of how far she had come in her journey, one built on aspirations yet constantly challenged by her own uncertainties. Ethan squeezed her hand tighter, offering silent support. His presence was a refuge amid the chaos of her spiraling thoughts. With his confidence radiating beside her, Lucy understood the importance of this moment. It wasn't merely about deciphering a cryptic message, it was a test of her resolve to take control of her path. Let us not go into this blind, she said, her voice steadier now. If something is out there trying to derail us, we need a strategy. Stepping back from the emotional turmoil, she adopted a pragmatic approach that felt empowering. Through the chaos of her mind, Lucy brainstormed possibilities. We should dig deeper. Maybe we can trace the number. I could ask the others at work if they've seen it before, she suggested, channeling her focus into something concrete. Naming her fears transformed them from nebulous threats to manageable challenges. Ethan nodded, admiration flickering in his eyes. That sounds like a solid plan. While you do that, I'm going to reach out to some contacts I have. Someone might know something. She watched him, noticing how he leaned into the uncertainty with the same fervor she felt igniting within her. This shared effort was more than just a response to fear, it was a collaborative commitment to break through the barriers of their lives. As they set off towards their respective tasks, Lucy's mind drifted to her career aspirations. With an invitation to embrace change swirling around her, she couldn't afford to dismiss her professional goals any longer. The path she envisioned had been clouded by self-doubt, yet her recent moments with Ethan sparked a belief in her capability. Besides figuring out this mystery, I want to take that workshop on project management I had my eye on, she announced suddenly. The confidence in her voice surprised even her. It wasn't just a passing thought, it was a declaration of intention. Ethan grinned at her determination. Now that's the spirit. You've been talking about that for ages. It's about time you signed up. Lucy felt a rush of exhilaration. You're right. I've let too many opportunities slip by, paralyzed by my fears or focused on what others expect of me. It's time to take command of my future. His nod encouraged her, igniting her motivation further. They parted ways, the weight of urgency fueling her steps towards the office. Each corner she turned felt like shedding another layer of hesitation, revealing a version of herself she hadn't fully embraced until now. As she reached her desk, Lucy took a deep breath, committing to her decision. Grabbing her phone, she quickly searched the workshop site, fingers trembling with anticipation. It was time to invest in her skills, to chart a course that honored her ambitions rather than simply reacting to circumstances. But just as she clicked register, her phone vibrated again with another unknown number. The screen illuminated ominously against the heightening excitement of her new resolve. Something deep within her knew she couldn't ignore it. Hello? She answered, breathlessly. It's time for clarity, Lucy, the voice on the other end replied. Fear slithered back into her heart, wrapping around her newfound determination. What clarity awaited her on this precarious path? Was it a reminder to focus inward, or another distraction designed to pull her from her ambitions? The decision to confront whatever awaited felt monumental, still the fragility of her internal development tangling with the urgency of the external chaos. And as she hung up, uncertainty loomed larger than ever. Would she be able to embrace both the journey of personal growth and the shadows of the unknown? The air was thick with possibilities, and Lucy was standing on the precipice of something extraordinary in evolution. She didn't yet fully comprehend, yet craved fervently, but there was no turning back now. What awaited her next would be a definitive test of every desire she had long buried inside. The fear settled into Lucy's stomach like a stone as she replayed the enigmatic voice in her mind. It's time for clarity. Words filled with promise yet laced with foreboding echoed incessantly. She shook her head, forcing herself to refocus on the tangible tasks at hand. The workshop on project management awaited her commitment. This would be a crucial step, not only for her career ambitions but for her self-worth. Tightening her grip on the phone, she mentally scolded herself for hesitating again. She had chosen to break free from the chains of doubt not just with her professional goals but with confronting the dual shadows stalking her. Juggling her workload felt daunting, but she powered through. She responded to emails with a renewed fervor, strategizing her next steps as she sought to turn uncertainty into actionable plans. With each completed task, she felt a flicker of her potential shining through. Yet, the mysterious call lingered like a specter, challenging her newfound resolve. As the clock inched towards lunchtime, Lucy joined her co-workers in the break room, both shielded from their daily grind and a harbor of camaraderie. Amid their chatter, she caught sight of Julia, her colleague, browsing a web page with animated excitement. "What's that?" Lucy inquired, her curiosity finding a way to pierce the haze of her thoughts. "Oh. It's a study group for project management. I heard the instructor is incredible. They even provide networking opportunities with industry leaders," Julia replied, a sparkle in her eyes. Lucy leaned against the counter, a light momentarily breaking through the storm within her. "That might just be the course I want to take." She felt an urge to share more, to articulate her desire to expand her horizons. Yet, the atmosphere grew heavy as the shadow of the phone call returned. "Have you enrolled yet?" Julia asked, snapping Lucy back to the present. "No, but I'm going to," Lucy asserted, though her voice wavered slightly. The conviction that had surged within her before started to tremble. Common fear should never outweigh ambition. Show the world what you can do. You need to put yourself out there, Julia encouraged, a sense of resolve radiating from her. Her words sparked a sense of kinship, a reminder that others believed in her potential even when she faltered. With gratitude, Lucy returned to her desk, invigorated by her colleague's encouragement. She pulled up the workshop page again, but just as she was about to click register, a familiar distraction pulled at her again. The unknown number flashed ominously on her screen. Feeling an unexplainable compulsion, she answered without hesitating. "Hello? Lucy, it's time to face truths. Your fate teeters on the edge, and only you have the power to seize it," the voice stated firmly. Her heart raced anew at the depth of the statement. This wasn't just a riddle, it felt like a challenge. Who was this caller, and what did they want with her? She sensed their intentions lay beyond mere intimidation. It felt like an invitation, a call to action that resonated with her dormant aspirations. "Face truths?" she echoed, her voice steadier now. This was not simply fear, but a crucible to mold her into the person she envisioned herself becoming. "What truths?" "You must decide: continue as you are, or embrace the woman you are destined to be," the voice replied, quiet yet powerful. As the line went silent, Lucy was left with a burgeoning realization. Their words urged her to confront not just the fears tethering her but the ambitions she had long neglected. This was a turning point, a moment just for her. Breathing deeply, she knew she couldn't let this opportunity slip. Not again. She pulled together her thoughts like a conductor orchestrating an anthem of resolve. This was her crossroad. Would she take control of her journey, or would she remain gripped by fear? Her pulse quickened, anticipation pulsating through her veins. Lucy squared her shoulders and set her jaw. She would embrace whatever came next, deciding to challenge her uncertainties head-on. Yet, as she prepared to plunge into the world awaiting her, a part of her hesitated. What if the unknown was not just a challenge, but a confrontation she had yet to fully comprehend? There, standing on the edge of revelation, Lucy felt a whisper of doubt curl within her. Would she have the strength to seize clarity when it finally arrived? The air crackled with potential, and in that moment, she understood her evolution hinged on the decisions she would make in the face of fear. What awaited her beyond hesitation would define her identity, and she was ready to confront not only the shadows but the thrilling journey ahead. Lucy's decision settled heavy on her shoulders, a tangible weight pushing her forward. She could either dwell in the stagnant waters of self-doubt or leap into the unknown, risking everything for the chance at clarity and growth. Restlessness churned inside her as she opened her laptop once more, the workshop page staring back at her like a challenge. The cursor blinked, taunting her hesitation. "Just do it," she murmured to herself, channeling Julia's fervor. In a moment of audacity that surprised even her, Lucy clicked the register button. A rush of adrenaline coursed through her veins, washing away the remnants of doubt. It felt like a small victory, but one that had the power to shift the trajectory of her life. Yet, with the registration complete came an avalanche of questions. What if she didn't belong? What if she failed to keep up? This sudden surge of courage was quickly dulled by a looming reluctance. Lucy clenched her jaw and pushed the fears aside, promising herself she would tackle them one at a time. That evening, Lucy studied the details of the workshop: syllabus, timeline, material needed. Each point was methodical, it anchored her to the task at hand. As she scribbled notes on project management methodologies, she began to envision herself not just as a participant, but as a leader confident and knowledgeable. The phone rang again, this time with a more familiar number. It was Rachel, her mentor. "I heard about your enrollment in the project management workshop." "Fantastic step forward, Lucy." Rachel's voice danced with enthusiasm. "Thanks. I'm excited but also a bit terrified honestly," Lucy admitted, a hint of vulnerability creeping into her tone. She could almost feel Rachel leaning in, listening intently. "Fear is natural, Lucy. It speaks to your ambition. Embrace it, don't let it paralyze you," Rachel replied. "Remember, when I started, I was terrified too. But those very emotions pushed me to prove myself." Lucy took a deep breath, absorbing her mentor's wisdom. "You learned so much from your first workshop. It inspired you to create a successful career." "Exactly. See this as an opportunity to expand your toolbox. The more you learn, the more confident you'll become. And don't hesitate to network, these connections can be invaluable." Lucy jotted a few notes, feeling the rush of her mentor's encouragement blend seamlessly with her own resolve. Ideas began to form, and with them, a newfound clarity. She decided to draft a plan, outlining not only what skills she wanted to acquire, but also what goals she would tackle post-workshop. But the voice from the mysterious call loomed in the back of her mind, whispering its unsettling mantra. Face truths. What truths specifically? Was it merely about professional aspirations, or was there something deeper she needed to confront within herself? As she delved into her evening preparations, ordering supplies for the upcoming sessions, arranging her schedule, Lucy felt the cold grip of uncertainty tightening again. Dread lurked there, shaded by the implications of opening herself to new vulnerabilities. Nevertheless, determination bubbled beneath. The next day, Lucy arrived at the workshop filled with a mix of eagerness and anxiety. The venue was buzzing with enthusiastic participants. She took a deep breath, grounding herself. Each step forward crystallized her commitment to both growth and connection. Before the session began, she exchanged polite smiles with her peers, and as the instructor entered, a ripple of anticipation surrounded them all. Lucy straightened in her seat, ready to embrace the challenge. But as discussions unfolded, doubts crept back. Could she truly rise above her insecurities? What if her past failures haunted her? The instructor introduced a team exercise, and Lucy felt her heart race. The fear of failure mixed with the excitement of potential collaboration weighed heavily. Suddenly, a question was posed that caught Lucy off guard. What barriers are holding you back from greatness? The room quieted as people reflected. Each idea tossed out felt like a mirror held to her soul. She squared her shoulders, the enigmatic voice echoing in her mind. With her heart pounding, Lucy raised a hand, ready to reveal not just her barriers, but the currents of potential swirling beneath the surface. Would the articulation of her fears bring her closer to those truths, or serve only to expose her vulnerabilities? The weight of the moment hung heavy in the air, waiting for her words to break its silence. What truths would she finally confront, standing boldly on the precipice of her desires? The silence in the room pressed against Lucy like a physical force, an unseen weight that made her breaths shallow. Her heart drummed a frantic beat, as if urging her to silence the concerns that loomed in the corners of her mind. Did she dare to lay bare her fears, or would that act only strip her of the facade of confidence she had painstakingly constructed? She caught the gaze of a fellow participant, a young woman with bright eyes that sparkled with determination. The encouragement emanating from that glance grounded her. Lucy's fingers trembled slightly but steadied against the desk as she cleared her throat, summoning the remnants of her courage. "I think my biggest barrier is my fear of failing in front of others," she confessed, her voice shaky yet defiant. "I've always been my own worst critic, and that can be debilitating." A murmur of understanding rippled through the room. To her surprise, several participants shared similar sentiments, voices overlapping in a chorus of vulnerabilities. The collective honesty began to dismantle the walls Lucy had built around her own insecurities. This shared experience became a liberating revelation, and Lucy found solace in the recognition that they were all charged with the same doubts. As the team exercise continued, their collective energy shifted. They brainstormed barriers and strategies, and slowly but surely, Lucy felt the edges of her fear soften. She realized these discussions were not merely a validation of her feelings, they were a catalyst for change. Her peers' insights illuminated aspects of her own journey that she had yet to explore fully. It was empowering to witness others confront their limits head-on. Each revelation chipped away at her self-imposed restraints, and Lucy began to see the value in vulnerability. Every shared story offered a lesson, a hint of wisdom. With each exchange, she grasped newfound knowledge about resilience, self-acceptance, and the importance of collaborative strength. As the session progressed, the instructor shifted topics, introducing techniques to transform fear into actionable plans. Lucy took diligent notes, each line a step toward conquering her uncertainty. Concrete strategies started to form in her mind, clear pathways blooming in the chaos of her thoughts. She began plotting her responses to difficult situations, visualizing how she would navigate challenges that had left her paralyzed in the past, but beneath the excitement of her revelations lay a nagging concern. The mysterious voice still echoed in her mind, daunting and demanding. Was facing her fears enough? Or was there more lurking beneath the surface, issues she had yet to confront? Lucy felt a deeper mystery of herself waiting to be unveiled, threats intertwined with her ambitions. By the end of the session, she noticed the shift within herself. What had begun in timid hesitation blossomed into conditional determination. The workshop had awakened a hunger in her for both learning and growth. Lucy had stepped beyond just feeling like a participant. She was beginning to see herself as a professional in her right, deserving access to opportunities she'd once thought unattainable. As the exercise concluded, leaving behind a flurry of ideas and renewed focus, Lucy caught the instructor's gaze, a glimmer of recognition passing between them. He nodded encouragingly, reinforcing her that there was something within her ready to emerge. Yet, as the room buzzed with chatter and plans began to take shape among her fellow participants, the undercurrent of her own uncertainties pulsed like an unignorable heartbeat. What truths would she have to unearth about herself before she could call herself the leader she aspired to be? With those questions swirling, Lucy found herself not just hoping to explore outward connections in her professional network but also desperate to confront the inward journey of self-discovery that awaited her. Little did she know, the very thing she might uncover next could change everything she thought she knew about herself, the yearning for revelation, the relentless push of ambition. Lucy's path was unfurling in unpredictable ways, hinting at challenges yet to come. Could she confront what lay deeper within, or would her past continue to sprawl in the shadows? The moment had arrived to decide just how far she would travel to claim her truth. Lucy stood in her bakery, a sense of calm enveloping her like a warm embrace. The doors that once felt like barriers now opened to the world of opportunities she was ready to explore. Today wasn't merely about the pastry displays or the scent of fresh bread, it was about Lucy Harper, not just the single mother, but the woman ready to embrace her ambitions. Having taken the leap into the project management workshop, Lucy's days were now filled with exciting insights and growing competencies. The ability to strategize and lead teams fueled a new spark within her. Each week, she entered the workshop not as the nervous participant but as a confident contender, ready to tackle challenges head-on. She could see her value in the discussions and glean ideas to further advance her career. In the meantime, her connection with Ethan deepened, buoyed by conversations filled with honesty, mutual respect, and shared dreams. They spent evenings discussing opportunities and ambitions, blending their differing worlds. Lucy discovered that she was not just a distraction for him, she was a source of inspiration that helped him navigate the labyrinth of expectations imposed by family. Confidence coursed through her. She began to articulate her own goals not just for her son, Jake, but for herself. The actress in her had been scared of stepping into the spotlight. Now, she stood in it, firmly planted in her ambitions. Amidst flour and sugar, she rose to showcase her newfound skills and aspirations, leading to new partnerships and catering opportunities. The defining moment arrived when a respected business forum extended an invitation for her to present her insights gained from the workshop. This was the opportunity she had yearned for, an invitation to showcase her potential. As she prepared for the presentation, the weight of doubt started melting away. In its place blossomed a robust self-assurance. "Lucy, you have a knack for connecting the dots," Rachel, her mentor, observed as they rehearsed together. "Your insights matter. Share them boldly." Those words resonated deeply. The night before the presentation, Lucy glanced at herself in the mirror. It wasn't merely about baking and managing a bakery anymore. She was harnessing her abilities to shape her future, one with real impact. The day of the forum arrived, and Lucy took to the stage, her heart racing but her hands steady. She shared her journey and the strategies she had embraced, revealing the transformation she had undergone both personally and professionally. She spoke about the entrepreneurial spirit it took to support her son while harnessing her own goals. The audience, captivated by her authenticity and clarity of vision, erupted into applause. As she stepped down from the podium, the recognition poured in. Several attendees approached, expressing interest in collaborating and supporting her journey. In that moment, battlements of self-doubt crumbled, replaced by a strong sense of belonging. Ethan watched her from the back of the room, his expression a mixture of pride and admiration. After the presentation, as the crowd ebbed and flowed, he embraced her tightly, his voice low and intimate. "You conquered that stage, Lucy. You've built bridges where others would settle for walls." That night transformed into a celebration of not just her achievement but the unmistakable bond they had cultivated. They connected on a level that transcended superficial expectations. Margaret's words echoed faintly but lost their weight. Lucy realized she defined her own path. The shifting dynamics within Ethan's life, friends, and family would never devalue her worth or potential. She had proved to herself that she could rise above pressures and expectations. In the following weeks, she navigated her role as a mother alongside a burgeoning career, fueled not just by dreams but with tangible steps. Her bakery flourished as she integrated her new skills, transforming it into a sought-after destination, both for pastries and as a community hub for upcoming entrepreneurs. Lucy finally felt authentic fulfillment. One grounded in the recognition of her hard work. In her heart, clarity dawned. Success wasn't just about external validation. It was discovering the strength lurking inside her all along, waiting for the moment she would claim it. As she prepped for the next day's batch of pastries, Lucy reflected on her journey. There was a profound satisfaction in being both a nurturing mother and talented entrepreneur. She embraced the complexity of her role, once filled with fears, now woven into a rich tapestry of accomplishment. As she closed the bakery one last time that day, she gazed out the window, the sunset casting warmth onto her skin. The ambiguous future didn't intimidate her anymore, it held promise, and she was more than ready to meet it. Embracing the unknown became more than a challenge, it was an exhilarating adventure. With all she had uncovered about herself, Lucy Harper learned that resilience thrived in the face of adversity, and her story was just beginning. Now, don't wait even one more second. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories that inspire and uplift. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. It makes a difference. Plus, comment below with your reactions and theories about Lucy's journey. And remember to share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible conclusion. This is the moment to show your support and be part of this transformative narrative.